Hello. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm so happy you're here. This video is part 3.5 of my Crystals for 2022 series. So, let's get started. My intention, which is, as always, for you to find alignment with your highest self, with your soul, with the greatest good for you in this timeline, dimension, and reality, and in all timelines, dimensions, and realities. And for me to help you along your path in whatever way I can. And of course, for you to have a wonderful, relaxing, beautiful evening. So, the last two crystals that would not sit this one out are the beryl crystals and tourmaline crystals. And they are kind of broad families of crystals, but they are so important for 2022. I'm gonna wait till this plane goes by. So I'm going to talk about tourmaline first, because tourmaline is such a fascinating crystal. There are people who only collect tourmaline, and you could make a whole career just out of collecting tourmaline. It's its own sort of crystal family in and of itself, and all of the locations are so different, and all of the sort of presentations are different, and you could really spend a whole lifetime just learning about tourmaline and probably only scratching the surface. I say this a lot in my shop. It is the most hard-working crystal out of all of the crystals that there are. And that is a huge statement for me to make. But I truly believe it is the hardest working crystal. I have a black tourmaline here, and it's really a nice piece, double terminated, chunky black tourmaline. Tourmaline is named, one of its names in Chinese medicine is the stone that ripples out effects around it. And I think that's such a perfect name, because it truly affects the environment physically, but it also energetically. It changes the air around it. So a lot of tourmaline will ionize the air, and it literally changes the makeup of the air around it, the environment around it. It's great for chelating and clearing, especially with radiation. It's what's used in nuclear sites to sort of mitigate the radiation, the boron specifically in the tourmaline. it's a boron silicate, and I'm going to go through a couple of different ones that I have and talk about their properties. Black tourmaline is definitely the most popular, and I think that it gets, it becomes more utilitarian, it becomes more of a functional crystal, and it really has so much more to offer than that. The really rich ones, so this is a really yummy, rich black tourmaline that is from Brazil. I believe they've told me it's called cabraleza, and I don't even know what that means. But it's cobbed out of the center of tourmaline crystals. So if they were to, I'm sure they would not do it on a beautiful specimen like this, but chip away at the outside of the crystal, you get what looks like an anatomical heart. It really looks like the heart of the crystal, and it's so rich. It's the most rich black crystal, and if you are in design, you might know about rich black, but RGB black means no light, but pigmented black means all the colors. So it's made up of every single color, and it holds all of the rays, all of the frequencies is in this one beautiful crystal. And there are some specific ones that really do a phenomenal job of that, specifically ones from South Africa. I don't have one here to show you, but they've been vibrationally tested by Vesica Institute, and they have on their vector spectrum, they have all 12 rays. So incredibly healing, incredibly clearing, so giving, just the most giving crystal. Something interesting that my crystal teacher, Sarah Thomas, told our classes was that she dreamt about tourmaline more than any other crystal, and that has been absolutely true for me as well. I have had dreams and dreams and dreams about tourmalines and very few other crystals, and they're always these otherworldly colors. They're colors that don't really exist in real life, but I think it's letting us in on the full spectrum, the spectrum we can't see and present, in this reality, but that exists in the astral plane where you go when you dream. And it's a phenomenon. These incredible fluorescent, beautiful crystals that I dream about that are tourmaline. This is a gorgeous blue tourmaline, blue-capped tourmaline. I have a lot of these types of crystals in my shop. I would highly recommend them for connecting with intuition and grounding, and they're very healing as well, and connecting with ocean type vibes, Sirius and the whales and the dolphins. So tourmaline is so important, and it's important because it's the hardest worker, and we need hard workers right now to help us. Mainly, they're so healing. They're incredibly healing. Specifically, the green tourmalines. So this is a nice piece of green tourmaline. It's got a pretty gradient to it. And green tourmaline is very clearing, very healing, very good for the heart, and just a beautiful crystal to work with to help clear anger, to work with the liver meridian, and work with the heart and those types of things. So also very important is pink tourmaline. This is my special pink tourmaline crystal that has a dark pink and a light pink tourmaline nestled up next to each other. I just think it's so freaking cool. And pink tourmaline is perfect for working with the inner child. It really helps soften that relationship and bring healing and love and gentleness and unconditional support to the heart, the inner child, especially if that inner child is wounded, and they all are in one way or another. So pink tourmaline is so important for that, especially for 2022 if you're working on shadow work, which is highly recommended. We have to do it at this point or it will be done for us. So by shadow work, I mean embracing the sides of yourself that you struggle with. And I heard a good quote the other day that becoming the best version of yourself, it's not about that. It's about loving all parts of yourself. So tourmaline is an incredible crystal to help you. We've got a real heart looking here, to clear and help you access that inner child, send love to those parts of yourself that you've struggled with in the past, or you may be ashamed of or have been shamed. And it's really just about working with that energy and just practicing radical self-love. Penny's here for that. Of course, we have to be. I just have to show, this is my most fancy tourmaline. It's from a rare mine in Brazil that is no longer active. It's my most expensive piece, and I won't say how much it is, but it was a whole lot. And it's so unassuming. But yeah, this piece was very, very special. It is very, very special. I love the energy of the colors. It's got kind of a teal and almost like a rust pink, kind of a taupe color at the bottom. And it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous combination. So very fancy piece over here. I don't know how to pronounce the name of the mine, or I would tell you, but Brazil. And I'll touch on what I believe to be the most special tourmaline that I have. And this piece is from the Black Hills, South Dakota euphorolite mine. And it's been given the trade name euphorolite sphinx, or tourmaline sphinx, from Black Hills. And this tourmaline has properties different from any other tourmaline that I have ever worked with. I received the last of this material from Gary, who is the euphorolite miner, and there will be more to come about this in another video all about euphorolite. But I have a small amount of this. It's not available for sale yet, but if you feel like it resonates with you, let me know. It is incredibly special and incredibly rare, magical material, and it has supernatural properties. This material was formed by a meteor impact on the Earth, and it carries material not in our periodic table from outside the solar system. So, insane stuff. I felt remiss to not mention it at least, but more to come on this. So, to sum up about Tourmaline, each piece has its own soul, has its own frequency and its own vibration, and there's so many to choose from and to work with. It comes in almost every color imaginable. Purple seems to be the most rare, and I do have some pieces in the shop that have purple, blue, and green, and they are so stunning, so beautiful. So definitely check those out if you're interested. I have some green pieces as well, and some gorgeous pieces of high quality black tourmaline with garnets on them, and what a powerful combination. So yes, highly recommend. So the next crystal or crystal family I want to talk about are the beryls, and that stands for beryllium. So they are beryllium silicate minerals, except for phenakite, which is really almost pure beryllium. And the beryls are one of the most classic crystals, one of the most widely used, widely appreciated and loved crystals, and they are also one of my favorite. They are not necessarily the most accessible to work with. So in my experience, you kind of have to meet beryl where it is. It's you have to find it at its level. It will not match you where you are. And that's sometimes tough. So I do want to put that out there right off the bat. It's a very high vibrational crystal, and it has, I believe, some of the most magical properties of all of the crystals that there are. So I would recommend looking up quantum tunneling in beryl crystals, and you can learn that it has incredible properties that are at the quantum level. The water inside crystals like aquamarine does not have a fixed location in space-time, so it can travel through walls, and it can be bilocated two places at once. So it does not even like to play by the rules of this universe. You have to graduate to work with beryls, I think. Not to say that it's necessarily difficult to get there, but it does require some true dedication and concentration to be able to access much higher levels of consciousness and vibration. So the first that you might know of is aquamarine. And aquamarine is one of my most favorites. This is my spectacular piece that has a, of course, helix And you can kind of see here the cover of my face, how it's got a gorgeous spiral through the crystal. It's so incredible. This is yet another feature of the beryls, that there are frequently spiral helixes through these crystals, and I will be doing a video on that in and of itself at one point soon. So more to come on the helices, but needless to say, it's a phenomenal property. We don't really know exactly why it happens, and I talked about it a little bit in the kunzite video, because kunzite is the other common crystal that you see the helices in. So yeah, this piece is world class. And this is a piece of what is called aquamorganite. So these are high in cesium, actually, and that's what creates this distinction here. But these crystals are pink and blue. So morganite is the pink beryl crystal, named after J.P. Morgan. And you can see it's got some black tourmaline in it as well. So we got both crystals going on here. These are so cool, and I have quite a few of these available in my shop. And I also have quite a few that are not even listed. So if you would like a really high quality version of one of these, let me know. Yeah, you can kind of see the different colors there. So another really cool one I have is this piece that has a spiral through it as well. But in that spiral is what I believe to be black tourmaline. And this crystal has jacked me up. It brings things into awareness. It brings things to the core that need to be dealt with. And yeah, it's kicked my butt. It's incredible. I've never seen another one like this. It's my own little special guy. But yeah, another good case of both crystals in one. And a lot of the time you'll see these crystals etched. So they're formed hydrothermally, which is another really cool feature that kind of brings in water and fire. So it works with both water and fire elements. And morganite specifically is good with heartbreak. It works with the heart really, really well. And all of the beryls are great for working with and balancing hormones. So it's a great crystal to keep on your body and to work with you for long periods of time. So if you decide to work with a beryl crystal, I would recommend months, 6 months to a year to work with one. They are hard on the Mohs scale, so they're one of the most hard crystals, and that means it can take time to translate from the physical into the spiritual. But once you do, it's powerful, powerful, high vibrational, beautiful energy. And I talked a little bit about morganite in my last kunzite video as well, because they're friends. Morganite is one of the few crystals that kunzite chooses to grow with, and that means a whole lot. That's really special. So, beautiful, incredible crystal. And let's see. The yellow version is called Heliodor, and it has beautiful solar vibes, beautiful Isis vibes to me, very Egyptian. They tend to have these very hieroglyphic etchings. If you look up Ukrainian Heliodor, you will see some of the most cool material. I only have small pieces because it is very expensive and pretty hard to come by, but very, very unique. Let's see if I can, right there, capture the very cool etchings. So this one would be a great crystal to work with Ra, the sun god, or any very solar type energies. And of course, emerald. This is one of my little emeralds. Beautiful color. Emerald is great for kind of bringing yang down, de-escalating yang, or excited energy. It's nice and calming, works well with the liver meridian to help quell anger, and it just has a very higher heart, sweet, high vibrational energy. So emerald is so cool, so important. It's a classic. And there's also, I have such a small one, red beryl. It's also called big spite, and it's really just found primarily in one location in the whole world, which is Utah. And they are all tiny, tiny, tiny crystals. The biggest ones you'll ever see are maybe this big. But primarily they're this big, so tiny. This one was $200, just as an example. This little guy. That's how rare this material is. But it's colored with manganese, and manganese works beautifully with the heart. So this is another one that carries it carries the red ray, and it's very powerful, very primal, very put you in your power crystal, and in your heart space, your heart power. So cool one to work with. And one of my most favorites, this is maybe even more rare than the red beryl. It's called pezodite, and it's high in cesium as well, and it also has lithium. And this crystal is beautifully pleochroic as well. It looks purple in one direction and blue, orange, pink in the other. So kind of like a purple, pink, and an orange pink. I'll probably make a video of this for overlaying just to show, because it's really cool. And this crystal vibrates with Venus energy to me. It's very kind of a sensual but clearing and powerful as well. So these are primarily found in Madagascar, and definitely one of my favorites. It's just this beautiful rich pink color. some of the other cool things that have been happening with the Beryls lately, this year specifically, are inclusions. And historically, you would just see these types of crystals that are no inclusions in them, or it's rare to find. But a very new pocket of this material from Pakistan has turned up some insane pieces with insane inclusions. So this piece alone has garnets, orange spessartine garnets. It has chlorite, mica, tantalite or Colombo tantanite, epidote, tourmaline, and that might be it. But an insane number of things. So I've named this trade name is Asylum Aquamarine, which is after Asylum Quartz, which is named because it just has so many crazy inclusions in it. And this has as well. It's also got these gorgeous rainbows. All of these pieces just have stunning rainbows. And this is another piece. This is probably my favorite. It's just bonkers. But you can see right on the front a little garnet there. And just full of rainbows and gorgeous inclusions. This material is one of my favorites I've come across recently, and it's so cool to work with. So I have some of these in my shop too, but they're really kind of the perfect amalgamation of all the crystals for 2022, right in one. Garnet, epidote is in there too, mica, chlorite. So many beautiful inclusions. So definitely recommend these. And I also, in my shop, have a few of these listed. I bought a large portion of the pocket and haven't been able to let go of many of them yet. They are some of my favorite crystals I've ever bought. They're crazy. So these are morganite with aquamarine. They have kind of blue cores, so they are pink on the outside with a blue core. This one has apatite included in it, and also green tourmaline. So you may be able to see that glowing piece. And there's also glowing inside of it, and that's the apatite. And if you can see inside, it's so cool. Yeah, that's not gonna focus. So these have, again, the best of all of the worlds. You've got apatite, you've got green tourmaline, which is so healing for the heart, working with morganite, which is also great for the heart, and a beautiful blue core. So here's another one of my favorites from the pocket, and I hope that it shows up, the blue and pink. It may not, but again, you can see on the back the tourmaline, and here's another. You can kind of see with this one how the core is really blue and a big green tourmaline chunk right there. And just one more that has a big chunk of green tourmaline. Some of them have blue tourmaline as well. So like I said, I have, I think, 3 of these listed right now. That's all I could part with. And they are more just strictly morganite. I still have about 10 of these, and I just can't. I love them all so dearly. I've been sleeping with 3 of these for like months. They're incredible. The vibration is so perfect. And who doesn't need some heart help right now? Some heart lifting. And I believe these have probably some amounts of lithium and cesium in them as well, which also help lift the heart, lift the energy, lift the spirits, and just beautiful, beautiful, healing, high vibrational energy. So this is kind of like where we're going to graduate to. And even more specifically, the next level of graduation would be phenakite, which is the purest version of beryllium. This piece is from Nigeria and it's etched, and it's absolutely incredible. Phenakite is so precious that it actually, you can test it with a diamond tester and it registers as a diamond. Its energy is so high. It's the most high vibrational crystal that there is. I will say that confidently. It is the most high vibration crystal. And incredibly healing, incredibly transmutational. It's what I wear in my ring here. And I wear it all day, every day. Because it is so important. I had this ring made by Erin Michael locally. She has a shop at Low Mill. So I keep it on me at all times. It's so important. And where better to get to than the highest level of vibration, the highest level of confidence and consciousness, and all of the best things, that you can access while staying grounded with our tourmaline and our richness and our earthiness. And these do such a great job of both, with that healing, present green tourmaline. I like to think of green tourmaline as kind of a Virgo crystal, very earthy crystal, and then we've got this just brilliant, sparkling beryl. So I would run, not walk, to snatch one of these while they're still there before I take the other 3 down. So I'm glad I finally got to talk about those 2 just a little bit. And tourmaline has really been wanting to be known specifically, so that's great. I've got on my Stone Medicine Woman shirt. This was by a local shop in Asheville, well, sort of local. And of course, Penny's over here helping. Thank you for your help. So thank you so much for being here again and listening to these crystals. I like to think of being able to be their voice. One of my callings in this lifetime is being the voice of things that don't have one, like animals and crystals, and those with special needs even. So, thank you for listening, and let me know if you resonate with any of these, and what other crystals you might think are important for 2022. And I hope this has been helpful, and I'm so grateful for all of you. So thank you so much. I love you. Good night.